Hello everyone, welcome back to this exploration of the book of 1 Timothy. We were getting in pretty deep when I left for some water and I pressed the wrong button, and now I'm starting a new recording from the place that we left off. So this will be part 2 of the introduction to 1 Timothy, and the direction or the heading at this point is Remain on at Ephesus. Of all the cities in the Roman Empire, Ephesus would have been one of the most difficult places in which to lead a tranquil and quiet life. See 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. Let alone to lead a tranquil and quiet church. This port city sat alongside the Aegean Sea at the mouth of the Cayster River, near the intersection of two important mountain passes. Ephesus, therefore, commanded a strategic position, offering access in all directions from the sea, making the city a busy and affluent economic hub for the Roman province of Asia. Materials and knowledge flowed into the city from all over the world, feeding its voracious appetite for more wealth and new philosophies. The text has a picture here. That's right, I'm not pushing any buttons. The picture is of a statue, and it says, the caption says, the people of Ephesus worshipped Artemis, also known as Diana, the mother goddess, depicted here with multiple breasts to signify fertility. Her value to the city was more than religious. Much of the city's economy depended upon the influx of worshippers' money. Ephesus. Now we're into the text again. Ephesus was renowned for its paganism. As many as 50 different gods and goddesses were worshipped there. That's 50. None, however, challenged the economic and mystical power of the towering temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Worship of the Earth Mother had become a huge attraction, combining tourism and sensual idolatry with such success that it fueled the city's core economy. You may read about this in Acts chapter 19. Despite Ephesus's already burgeoning import-export trade, city officials set aside 1 month of every year to honor the goddess with a grand celebration, during which all work ceased for a solid month. The stadium hosted athletic games. The theater produced plays. The Odeum, O-D-E-U-M, held concerts. And people flocked from every corner of Asia and beyond to make offerings in the sacred grove, the mystical birthplace of Artemis. Worship of the goddess brought such enormous sums of money into the temple that it became an important banking institution, perhaps the first of its kind in Asia. Moreover, the city of Ephesus became a sanctuary for debtors, a place of refuge for anyone seeking to avoid his creditors' demands. If the lure of money and magic didn't add enough chaos, the city of Ephesus also attracted schools of philosophy. Around 500 BC, Heraclitus, a Greek noble of Ephesus, taught that the universe operates according to a unified ordering principle, which he called Logos, the Word. Later, philosophers built upon this theory, claiming that all the laws of physics, mathematics, reason, and even morality can be traced back to an impersonal, divine mind. By the time of Paul, Ephesus had become a veritable cauldron of competing philosophies and a celebrated repository of Greek texts on philosophy. For all its temptations and challenges, Ephesus's strategic location made it a perfect base of operations for Paul's ministry in Asia. To ensure the church would remain morally uncorrupted, doctrinally pure, and spiritually vibrant, he spent more time in Ephesus than in any other Gentile city. Moreover, he nurtured the congregation from afar, sending envoys to check on its members' well-being, writing at least one letter, and perhaps most significant of all, placing them in the hands of his star disciple, Timothy. The next heading is, "It is for this we labor and strive." Ephesus was a city built of marble. Marble paved the streets, lined the foundations, supported the monuments, and channeled rainwater to the sea. Even the public toilets were constructed from polished marble. The city gleamed with white iridescence, as if to say to the world, "This city will shine forever." Even today, tour guides encourage visitors to the magnificent remains of the ancient city to wear sunglasses at midday to avoid eye damage. So, the church in Ephesus had to be built of equally sturdy stuff. To withstand the crashing chaos battering its foundations, the congregation needed order above all. And with so many strong personalities present, their pastor would have to lead with a firm yet loving hand. Paul expressed the central purpose of his letter in 1 Timothy 3, verse 15. And this is an important statement of purpose. "I write so that you will know how one ought to conduct himself in the household of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and support of the truth." And that's the end of his quote. While the apostle did discuss important theological truths, he wrote primarily to equip Timothy for the task of leading and stabilizing the church. He began by offering personal encouragement, exhorting Timothy to fight hard for the gospel. That is chapter 1, verses 1 through 20, which is the subject of our first study in 1 Timothy. The opponents of the truth would fight ruthlessly to tear it down. He described the essential qualities Timothy should cultivate within the congregation. Chapter 2, verses 1 through chapter 3, verse 16. He described the essential qualities Timothy should cultivate within the congregation, which he hoped would influence the city at large. Then Paul instructed his student on the role of a shepherd, the faithful teaching and preaching of the word, his conduct among the flock, and the inevitable resistance he would face from within as well as from without. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 through chapter 6, verse 21. Throughout his letter, Paul kept Timothy's eye focused on the ultimate prize of a shepherd, a godly congregation. Another quote, "Bodily discipline is only of little profit, but godliness is profitable for all things, since it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come." That's 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. Paul, quote, "labored and strived," unquote, for this in every church he established and strengthened. In this letter, the apostle laid his shepherd's mantle across the shoulders of his pupil, Timothy. If you serve today as a pastor or spiritual leader, this mantle has passed to you as well. My question to you, brothers and sisters, is which of you doesn't serve today as a pastor or spiritual leader? This mantle belongs to us all. And then there is a couple of timelines and Paul's farewell tour. So if you have a map, a good map, in your Bible, you want to start in Rome and then go in a straight line to Crete, the little island, and then go north and east to Miletus, and then Troas, and then up into Macedonia. That would be northwest, and then southeast to Corinth, and northwest to Nicopolis, and then from Nicopolis northwest all the way to Rome. Paul very likely intended, after his release from prison in Rome, to establish or stabilize the churches around the Aegean Sea, and the Aegean is pretty well in the middle of all those churches. He also lists Ephesus just north of Miletus, but he makes the travel go from Miletus to Troas. He sought to stabilize the churches around the Aegean Sea before beginning his mission to evangelize Spain. And so there are a couple of charts that give us the book of 1 Timothy at a glance. And then we are on to our first study in the book of 1 Timothy. And that's where we'll pick up in the next installment. The name of the study, or the title of the study, is Apostle Paul to Pastor Timothy, and it covers 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 1 through 20. Thank you for joining me. I give thanks for you, and I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you until we meet again. Thank you, everyone.